Sister Laila live. Sister Laila live. Weekly for the show at the hour. Ask Sister Laila live. Sister Laila. Invite your friends and family. Make it cozy. Ask Sister Laila.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Ask Sister Laila live show. And this is where you can join and ask your questions about Islam and inshallah get them answered. If you are on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn or Twitch or even Rumble, all you have to do is type your questions on the screen and inshallah I'll answer them. Or also you can join our Sunnah followers Zoom room by going to www.sunnahfollowers.net. Click where it says join Zoom room and you can come in and type your question there to get it asked, or you can use the microphone if you like. Or you can go to the sunnahfollowers.net website and you can just click on the chat button and send your question that way too. Again, so just however you like to send the questions, you can do so, and inshallah, I will answer them. And since I don't have Sister Fame here, for those of you who join the Zoom room, you can just send the questions to me, type the questions there on the screen, and inshallah, I'll be able to read them, and I'll see them, and I can answer them, inshallah. Okay, so you guys can start typing your questions now if you have them. And as we wait for the questions to come, let me remind everybody that tomorrow is Saturday. And tomorrow we have the class with Sister Samat. She's going to be teaching the names of Allah. And I really encourage you guys to participate in her class, because you guys are learning about the names and attributes of Allah in my Aqidah class. And so now when she breaks down those names meaning into English for you, inshallah, you'll be able to ponder them and apply them better. And her class is held at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys are here for that. And also tomorrow we will have a continuation of Dr. Asim's class as well, whereas he'll be speaking about how to reflect upon the words of the Quran, and his class will be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please make sure you join his class as well. And also tomorrow we have Dr. Dramali's lecture at 9 p.m. and he's going to be speaking, well, he put his time at 8 p.m. He's going to be speaking about the jinn. I guess some of you had questions about the jinn. So he's going to speak tomorrow at 8 p.m. about the jinn. Can the jinn harm a person? So that's tomorrow's lineup, and I'll put that schedule out later. So any questions, you guys can feel free to type them in the Zoom room or type them on the screen, and I will address them. And there's one question here from Sister Amy already about the prayer. Okay, Sister Amy said that upon making prayer today, she forgot to recite the Fatiha in her third rakat. She didn't realize it until after the prayer had ended. So she wants to know, what do you do in a case like that? Okay, well, Sister Amy, as we've been speaking about in our series on the prayer, in order for your salats to be, your prayer to be accepted, you must recite the Fatiha in every rakat. Okay, she just typed also, it was the Isha prayer. She just prayed it not too long ago. Okay, Well, since you did not recite the Fatiha in the third rakat, then in this case, what you do is go back and remake the entire prayer over. You have to remake the entire prayer over, because as our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in the authentic hadith, and what's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. There is no prayer without al-Fatiha. So the good thing is that it's still Isha, so you still have time. And it happens. You're a new Shahada, and we make those mistakes. It happens sometimes. It's a good thing that you caught it and remembered. Yeah, now you can go back and perform it over again. Yes, the entire prayer. Exactly. And Allah knows best. And that happens. And again, like I was trying to tell you guys earlier today in my 6:30 class, don't feel bad when you make mistakes like that. You know, don't feel guilty. Don't feel like you're going to hell and all of that. And, you know, that Allah is going to punish you. And, you know, your personal jinn wants you to become a fanatic. Your personal jinn wants you to lose hope. And as believers, remember, the believers never lose hope. The believers never despair of the mercy of Allah. So, you know, just make the restitution and keep it moving. Life is too short to get caught up in despair. So, yeah, don't allow yourself to do that. Yes, any other questions? Go ahead, type them. Okay, here's another question. Is it haram for me to play video games? Must be one of the kids from Twitch. Okay, again, guys, if we're going to say that something is haram, we're saying that something is forbidden. And whenever we use the word forbidden or haram, we have to bring the clear evidence. The clear evidence, because as our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the lawful and the unlawful are clearly defined by Allah. So if someone's going to tell you that it's haram to play video games, they have to bring the clear verse where Allah says in the Quran, thou shalt not play video games. Or the authentic hadith wherein the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, thou shalt not play video games. There's no such thing. And the things that Allah has not addressed are lawful. So playing video games in and of itself is not haram. However, you need to look to see what type of video game you're playing, because maybe you're playing a game that whose subject matter is haram. For example, if it's a video game that entails you selling drugs or pretending that you a bank robber or something like that, that might be haram. Because again, as Muslims, we're supposed to enjoin the good and forbid the evil. And as Muslims, we distance ourselves from any and everything that contradicts our Islamic morals. So if it's a game where you have to be a robber or a pimp or a prostitute or a drug addict or something like that, then perhaps you should stay away from that type of video game. Okay, so it's not so much that playing video games in and of itself is haram, but it may be the type of game that you're playing. And also remember, in Islam, as Muslims, we don't play any games that entail dice or gambling. And Allah knows best. Yes. Okay, any other questions? Just type them on the screen. And yes, you can type yours too, sister. Yeah, and I was very proud of you guys today with how you answered the questions about the attributes of Allah. It showed me that you guys, that maybe what I'm teaching is penetrating, that it's starting to make sense. I was very proud of your answers. Okay, the sister here is typing. She said, I am new to Islam. My family does not like Islam. They do not like Muslims. Every time I go around my family, they ridicule me. They threaten me about my way of life. How does Islam teach me to handle this? Okay, well, first of all, I want to welcome you to Islam. And your question is not uncommon. A lot of the new shahadas experience the same thing that you're experiencing because, Islam is portrayed in a demeaning way on social media and by society. So it's normal that your family don't understand what you've embarked upon. They have misconceptions about our way of life. But to answer your question, the answer is simple. Until your family accepts the reality that you are what you are, then you distance yourself. That's what Islam teaches us. We distance ourselves, even if it's against our own family. If they are enemies to us, enemies to Islam, enemies to Allah, enemies to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And let me explain to you what I mean by distance. What you do is you call your parents on the phone and talk to them and check on them. Hello, Mom. This is Sally. I'm just calling to check on you to see if you need anything, to see if you're okay. But I won't be coming over anymore because of the way you guys ridicule me and the way you guys treat me because of my new chosen life. So you let your parents and your family members know that you won't be coming around them physically. Okay, but you will call and check on your mom and will call and check on your dad and your family members, every so often to make sure that they're okay. So when you call them on the phone, you talk to them, ask them how they're doing. Is everybody okay? If they start badgering you because you're a Muslim, or they start badgering you because of your way of life, you get off the phone with them. And I'm going to tell you, once your family sees that you are serious about this way of life, your new chosen way of life, they'll end up accepting you eventually because there's that unconditional love that our family members have for us. Okay? So, and also, Islam is all about good character, good morality. You want to remain respectable to them. If they put you down, you don't put them down. You just get off the phone with them. You be polite. You show your parents and you show your family members what a great choice this was for you, because dawah is from your actions, the way you carry yourself, the way you dress, the way you look, the way you deal with people. They can see that Islam is not this terrible way of violence that the media may have depicted of it. But you have to distance yourself from them, do el-bara, because your faith is new. Your faith has not yet developed in your heart. And it's not going to take much for Shaitan to pull you back to whatever you were upon before Islam, especially if you were close to your family members. So what I suggest you do is what the companions did, because this is what they've done. The companions distanced themselves. They distanced themselves from their family when their family members became cruel and abusive towards them because of their way of life. But they showed their family members through their actions and behavior what a good way of life this was. They would check on them, help them if they needed help, and all of that. But as far as you going around them so they can abuse you, don't do that anymore. Just make phone calls. Check on them by calling them on the phone. And when they become aggressive towards you or they become cruel towards you, you know, I just wanted to check on you. I love you. Have a good day, and hang up. Okay. And Allah knows best. Okay. And I want to remind the people that's in the Zoom room, since Fame is not here, if you guys have any questions, just type them on the chat box and I'll be able to see it. I have the Zoom room open so I can see if there's any typing, because I don't have Fame here.
There's one question on the Zoom, Sis Laila.
Oh, I didn't even see it. Hold on. Oh, why come I didn't see it? Oh, okay, here we go. I'm sorry, guys. Let me see why I didn't see it. That's weird. Why am I? Okay, can you guys still see me on here? Okay, I'm doing two computers. Give me a second. Let me look at the question here. Okay, hold on. Hold on, people. Okay, here's the question. What advice would you give to a sister who is stuck in a haram situation because of finances? She does not commit shirk, but her income isn't enough to survive in her own. I don't know what the haram situation is. I need to have more information. I need to know what is the haram situation that she's stuck in. Because I don't know. I mean, that's too broad. There's a lot of haram. So I need more information. Okay. So what advice would I give a woman who is living with a man who is not lawful for her? She needs to get out of it. This is a sacrilege. That's why we have to get all the information. This is haram. She don't live with a man who is not her mahram, not even for a second. There's no reason for her to be with a man like that. She can go move home to her family. Where's her family at? And this is one of the reasons why Allah is punishing us. I get these type of questions every day. There are so many so-called Muslim women shacking up with kafir men, having relations with kafir men, living with kafir men, or even living with so-called Muslim men as fornicators, adulterators. This is a sacrilege. You have the curse of Allah on you for that stuff. This woman, what advice do I have her? She needs to go home to her family, go move in with her mother, her sister, her daughters, her aunts, her cousin even, that's a female. Or she can go to the YWCA and ask the YWCA. Under no circumstances, I want all you Muslim women to understand this. You are not supposed to live with a man who is not your husband, not even for to come in out the rain. Not even to come in out the rain. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any woman and man who are alone together and they are not mahram, shaitan is the third person. These two people are nothing more than fornicators, even though they ain't fornicating. They're fornicating physically by being alone together. This is a sacrilege. It's also one of the signs of the last hour. It's also one of the signs before the war against Islam. The Prophet said you'll find women and men who are not even married living together. Sick. Tell her she better get out of that man's house, pack her bags, and go home to her family. ASAP. And I don't want to hear about finances. Ain't no such thing as finances. Because guess what? We got the YMCA. Oh, yeah. We got the welfare system. Oh, yeah. We got emergency relief. Oh, yeah. All you got to do is go down to the welfare department, tell them you need emergency assistance. So that stuff don't work here. Okay? We do what we want to do. Don't blame it on finances. Blame it on your desires. And you Muslim women have to stop this. This is another one of the reasons why there's going to be more women in hell than men, because women are more hard-headed. Women commit more sins like that than men do. And they try to blame it on finances. When you got family, get your butt home to your family and leave that man alone. Is that man your God? Tell the sister, ask her, is that man her God? Is her love for him greater than her love for Allah? Allah tests us in accordance to our faith. He knows you can fool yourself, women, but you can't fool Allah. Yeah, so that's my advice to her. Get out of it, go home. That's my advice. Let that man go and go home. All right. Also, let me see the next part of the question. Wait, let me get back to it. I got to come back in soon. Yes, we have to come down on these women. If y'all see it's too many people. She ain't got no family members. She's all alone in the world. She ain't got no family at all, Nia. She's just alone in the world. There's no one. She's just every single one of her family members is passed on. Is that what you're telling me, Nia? She ain't got no cousins. She ain't got no family members. Allah took her whole family out. She's in Gaza. She lost everybody. Is that what you're saying? Let me tell you what the Gazans do, who lost everybody. You ain't gonna find no woman in Gaza shacking with a dude. Even though the women in Gaza lost their whole family, those women will make a tent. They'll go and put some rocks together and build a tent out of rocks and live alone before they go shack up with a man who ain't they mahram. So tell her to get over that. Tell her she ain't got no business living with that man. She know what she doing. Tell her to get out of that situation and fear Allah. Take her behind down to the welfare department in the morning and tell them that she needs emergency relief. Tell her to go to the mosque. Ask the imam, is there a sister? Because there's a lot of single women in every Islamic community. Ask the imam, can he put her in touch with a sister that she can stay with until welfare gets her home? Okay? Or ask her to go to the mosque and ask the imam to put her in a hotel room until she can get pay for a hotel room for her until the welfare system can give her emergency relief. Oh, there's a lot of things she can do. Even if her family really did pass on, even if she was an orphan, there's things she can do rather than shack up with a dude. Come on, guys. Women. Yeah, we have to come down on them like that. They're weak. Okay, here's another question. And by the way, the rest of you sisters, y'all need to get out of those relationships. Oh, yeah. Okay, here's another question. This question is, if you use marijuana, let's just make it real. If you are smoking weed for medical purposes, is it okay to eat the weed too? To answer this question, marijuana is haram, haram, haram. There's no such thing as medical purposes. This is another one of the signs of the last hour. Allah says the people will make drugs and alcohol lawful and give them pretty names like medical as an excuse to smoke them and use them. None of you should be smoking or eating marijuana for no reasons, because as the prophet said, there is no cure in anything that Allah made haram. There is no doctor on planet Earth who will tell you that smoking marijuana is curing you of a disease, because it's not a cure for nothing. All it does is make you high so that you can forget the pain. So this is a big sin. This is one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not take intoxicants. Okay, this is a major sin. Allah does not answer the prayer nor accept any prayers of anybody who is taking intoxicants. This is why this person is probably sick. Maybe if this person leave the drugs alone, Allah would listen to that person's supplication and try to cure them or treat them. But under no reasons are we allowed to take intoxicants. Allah says that in the Quran, and that's one of the 10 commandments. And as the prophet said, Allah did not, I repeat, Allah did not, I repeat, Allah did not put a cure for any sickness in anything he made haram. What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. So we Muslims got to let these drugs go. We got to stop being druggers and alcoholics. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there will be some people who will be raised up as kafirs on the day of judgment. One such person is the person that's addicted to alcohol or addicted to intoxicants. That person will be raised up as a kafir. Why? The prophet said because he took his love for alcohol, or he took his love for those intoxicants over his love for Allah. So I've given you a lot of dalil. I've given you Muslims all the evidence. Under no circumstances do we take marijuana, opium, cocaine, crack, alcohol, or anything else. The Prophet Muhammad also said, for those people who claim that there's some good in the intoxicant, the Prophet Muhammad said the harm outweighs any good in it. What's the source? Sahih Muslim. He said, for those who say that there's benefit in the intoxicant, he said the harm outweighs any benefit, and Allah doesn't put no cure for any sickness in anything he made haram, and Allah knows best. So y'all got to let them drugs go. That's why your supplications are not getting answered, Muslims. Stop doing drugs. Teach your children to say no to drugs too. This is a big problem, and Allah knows best. Okay? Yeah, the brother here say, God, Sister Laila, you gave so much dalil. He said, I'm throwing away my edibles. What were you doing with edibles anyway? Brother, yeah, y'all better leave them drugs alone. What's wrong with y'all? Smoking drugs, weed, marijuana. The way that stuff stank, I don't even know how y'all would put that in your body. It smells like hell. You can walk past a person that's doing weed, smoking that crap. Oh, it stinks. So bad, it makes me, I want to throw up. I don't know how y'all put that filth in your body. Like the Prophet Muhammad said, the harm outweighs any benefit that you think is in it. Yeah, it smells horrific. Plus, it messes up your head. Oh, when you ride in the street, one of the things I hate is to be at a stoplight. I'm sitting at a stoplight waiting for the light to change. I got my windows down in my SUV. I'm kicking it. And then somebody drives up and you smell this horrific smell. That stuff stinks so bad. And then when you drive off, it travels in the air. You still smell it for 10 minutes. How dare you people put that crap in your body? Oh, it's just disgusting. Yeah. And Allah knows best. But no, we don't do drugs at all. There's no such thing as using any intoxicant for a medical purpose. That's what the Kafirs do, not us Muslims. It's haram. Okay, let's see what else we have. Here's another good question. By the way, these are good questions the sister's bringing me. Okay, here's another question. Do I have to redo my prayer if I forget to set an intention? Okay, this is another, boy, you got some good questions here, Sister Nia, from these sisters. Whoever these sisters are, tell them may Allah bless them. They got some really good questions here. Okay, this is another excellent question, especially for my new shahadas. I want you guys to remember that intentions are in the heart. You do not have to verbalize your intentions out loud to pray. The simple fact that you got up and went to make wudu, that's intention. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said intentions are followed by actions. So you'll find a lot of the Sufis and innovators, they'll teach you new shahadas. Let me see if I can remember. You convert to Islam and they'll tell you, oh, when you go to pray, you have to say niyat, nuwayna wa nusalli salatul isha, arba rakats fard salat inshallah. This is not true. We don't verbalize anything. We don't say nothing. The simple fact that you know it's time to pray and you're getting up, going to make the prayer, that's your intention. Okay? So this is another excellent question from these sisters. They always get the best questions here from our Zoom people anyway. Okay? But mashallah, exactly. So tell her that no, she doesn't have to redo anything because the simple fact that she knew it was time to pray and she went to pray, that's her intention. Okay? Mashallah. These are some excellent questions. Okay, I'm going to hold her. Keep putting them up there for me, Sister Nia. Put them up there so I can see. These are excellent. You got the best questions. Okay, let me go in here to look on YouTube to their questions too. Let me take one from them. Sister Saba, wa alaikum salam. She said, how to get rid of jealousy. Oh, this is something that all human beings suffer with. It's one of the evil characteristics of man. Okay, that comes from Shaitan. This is what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to do. He said, some people are born with good character. Other people may not be born with good character. He said, if you are a person and you realize that you are lacking a good characteristic or that you have a bad characteristic, there's 3 things that you can do. And I want y'all to remember this. Number 1, he said, make dua. Make dua, asking Allah to rid you of jealousy. That's number 1. Every day when you make your prayers, when you are prostrating or bowing, ask Allah to remove jealousy from your heart. That's number one, make dua. Number two, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, surround yourself with good Muslims who have the characteristic that you need, or who don't have the characteristic that you need to get rid of. So make sure that you are surrounding yourself with Muslim women who don't suffer with jealousy. That's number two. And then the third thing that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that we can do to rid ourselves of a bad characteristic is, he said, pretend that you're not jealous. He said, because eventually, after pretending to not be jealous, it will eventually disappear. And the source of this is Sahih Muslim too. Okay? So those are the three things you can do to rid yourself of jealousy. Number one, make dua every day, asking Allah to take it away. Number two, make sure that you're not hanging around women who are jealous. And number three, pretend that you're not a jealous person. And Allah knows best. Okay. And here's another question from here. Sister Amina, she wants to know how to deal with feeling down. Oh, this is something that we struggle with every day. The same thing, Sister Amina. When you find yourself feeling down, first of all, pretend to not be down. Number two, seek refuge. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Ask Allah to take away that downness. And number three, occupy yourself with something that'll make you happy. You have to learn how to make yourself happy like I do. Teaching Islam makes me happy. Teaching Islam takes my mind off of depressing things in life. So I spend my time teaching Islam, or doing the videos, or writing up the PowerPoints, or planning classes. Okay? And that's the same with loneliness. Any of those negative feelings, loneliness, anxiety, depression, sadness. These are all the evil emotions that we all possess that come from Shaitan. Okay? The Prophet Muhammad said, remembering Allah helps to take those things away. The Prophet Muhammad suffered with loneliness. He suffered with anxiety. He suffered with sadness. Okay? But he would remember Allah, and that would help take it away. Go talk to Allah. If you're lonely, go talk to Allah. Have a conversation with him. Okay? Or do something that'll take your mind off of it. Watch television. I do that. When I find myself getting lonely, you know what I do? Besides teach, besides doing PowerPoint, besides making my videos, if I'm done with all that, I'll go watch the Vampire Diaries. Oh, yeah. I'll go watch the Vampire Diaries. Or I'll watch some fantastic old silly show that'll take my mind off of it. You people are going to have to learn how to take your mind off of what Shaitan is throwing at you. Some women like to sew. I know some people, when they feel lonely or depressed or anxious, they start making clothes. Another hobby, I like to cook, even though I can't cook. I'll go and get me some stuff and try to make a recipe. Or I'll write in my book. You know, you have to find something, guys. When Shaitan whispers to you to go through those negative feelings, you have to do the opposite of what he's telling you to do. Pretend that you ain't that way. I pretend that I'm a normal person. I pretend that I ain't got no problems. I pretend I ain't got anxiety. And I'll come in here and do all kind of stuff on this computer. I'll go play spades. If it's still bothering me, I'll go on the internet and play spades with somebody. There's so many things you can do to overcome these negative emotions. You guys are just going to have to do what's best for you. Okay? And Allah knows best. Okay? Keep yourself busy. As the Prophet Muhammad said, idleness is the workshop of Shaitan. You got to keep yourself busy doing something to take your mind off of what's bothering you. Exactly. Go for walks. Exercise. That's what I do. I work out. And do a variety of things. I got a lot of things I do. Work out, write in my book, teach on this website, do the PowerPoint, make videos, watch the Vampire Diaries. Okay? Go play spades with somebody on the internet. Play bid whist. I do bid whist too. You know, find what helps you to take your mind off of it. And Allah knows best. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, she got some good questions. Let me read this one here. Yeah, tell the Sister Nia to put their questions here. Yeah, I'll answer them, inshallah. Okay, here's another question. Don't know about the hadith that is used that discourages one from changing appearance. So if so, I have a follow. Okay, first of all, a lot of Muslims don't understand the hadiths, as you guys are learning in my classes. It's a hadith, but it's also a verse of the Quran. Allah says in the Quran that it is haram, it is forbidden, it is forbidden, it is forbidden to change the creation of Allah. But most Muslims don't know what that means. They don't know what that means. So this is where the science of the Quran comes in. You have to use the science of connectivity. The hadiths are the explanation of the Quran. You have to know what happened to make Allah send that down. What happened for Allah to talk about people who change the creation of Allah? Well, I'm going to give you the meaning of that verse of the Quran, and I'm going to give you that hadith in its entirety. A woman came to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She said, "O Prophet of Allah, my daughter is getting married. My daughter is getting married, but her hair has fallen out because she got the measles, and the measles have caused her hair to fall out of her hair. So, can I put a wig on her? Can I give her some fake hair from a wig?" The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said no. He said, Allah has cursed the women and the men who change the creation of Allah. That's what that hadith is speaking about. And later, the companions understood. Later, after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had died, when Islam spread under the caliphate of Abu Bakr, Islam spread through the Roman Empire. Islam spread through the Persian Empire. And as the Syria, Iraq, and those countries converted to Islam, remember, Medina was the center of knowledge. Y'all see how I'm giving y'all the history? You have to know the history of this religion. Okay? As Islam spread, Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, he set up a school in Medina where he taught Islam. We talked in our other class how Ibn Masud, may Allah be pleased with him, had a school in Kufa. Okay? Well, as Islam spread and the Romans converted to Islam and the Persians converted to Islam, the people would come to Medina to learn the religion. Ibn Abbas had his school, and there were some of his students who were new to Islam. They asked him about this verse. They said, "Oh, Ibn Abbas, what does it mean to change the creation of Allah?" Are you listening to me, Nia? And I hope the rest of you Muslims around the world are listening, because I get so sick and tired of hearing people that don't know this religion give you their Sufi or fanatical broke down interpretation, which is totally wrong. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, explained to his students. He said to change the creation of Allah means to take on the appearance of something other than a human being, to take on the appearance of something other than what Allah created you to be. Okay? He also explained, and by the way, what's the source of this? Sahih Bukhari and Muslim and Muwatta. Muwatta, Bukhari and Muslim. You gotta learn them hadiths. You gotta learn the history of this deen. It ain't about no fatwa from Islam Q&A. Okay? Ibn Abbas said, changing the creation of Allah means to take on the appearance of something other than a human being. He said, many of you convert to Islam and you ask why you can't wear a tattoo. He said, Allah did not create a human being to have a flower on his arm. Allah did not create a human being to have a sword as part of his arm. Arching the eyebrows. This is changing the creation of Allah, because Allah did not create us human beings to be like chickens, to not have eyebrows. That's why we cannot pluck the hair from our eyebrows. Allah did not create women to be bald-headed. That's why, and then put on a wig. That's why we don't wear wigs. Okay? So to change the creation of Allah, as Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, described, means to take on the appearance of something other than a human being, to take on the appearance of an animal, to take on the appearance of a flower or something that Allah did not create you to be. And Allah knows best. So, Sister Nia, do you understand the hadith now? That hadith has nothing to do with makeup. Makeup is not changing the appearance of a human being. Makeup accentuates. The prophet's wives wore makeup. Huh?
I do. I have a follow-up question. So does that include things like braces?
No. Braces is a treatment. Let me explain. I'm glad this is why her questions are so good. A lot of people will ask, like she said, okay, we understand it ain't makeup, because I didn't beat that up. Well, what about bracelets? If I were to get braces put on my teeth, is that changing the creation of Allah? No, because if you put braces on your teeth, you're not changing the creation of Allah. You're treating your teeth. Braces are a treatment for crooked teeth. You're correcting your mouth that's crooked. You're not changing your mouth to a mouth of a snake. You're not changing yourself by putting fangs in. You see what I'm saying? Braces are a treatment for a sickness. As the prophet said, every sickness has a cure. Some of the cures, Allah shares knowledge of it with us. Other cures, he doesn't. What's the cure for crooked teeth? Wearing braces. What's the cure for breasts that are too big? Breast reduction. Breast reduction is not changing the creation of Allah. I'm a woman. I got breasts. All I'm doing is treating them. My breasts are too big. They're causing my back to hurt. They're causing me problems. So we're reducing it. My doctor suggests to reduce it. That's a treatment. That's not changing. Now, if I were to cut my breast off because I just want to be a man, that's something different. And this is what Muslims today don't understand. The difference between treating a sickness and taking on the appearance of something other than a human being.
Okay, so teacher, one more question, please. So what about people who have weight loss surgery?
I've had weight loss surgery. Again, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said there's a treatment for every sickness. What's the treatment for obesity? Weight loss surgery.
See, somebody told me just don't eat. Don't eat.
Whoever told you that, that's why that person is not a doctor. And remember, Allah says, ask the people of knowledge. Whoever told you that is not a person of knowledge. You should have asked a doctor. A doctor is a person of knowledge. He would have told you, if you're obese, you're going to die. But thanks to Allah, Allah has revealed to us what we can do medically to help you to lose your weight and save your life. And it's called weight reduction. And they got other things now too. They got shots you can take too. They got the other things they can do. Knowledge comes from Allah. When it comes to sicknesses, that's not changing the creation of Allah. It would be changing the creation of Allah if I made you into a fat elephant. If I gave you a trunk and gave you a butt like an elephant and made you have 4 legs, now I've changed the creation of Allah. But weight loss surgery is a treatment. It's a medical treatment. It's a treatment for a sickness, which is not the same. That's why we have to learn these hadiths. And we have to ask the people of knowledge. Don't waste your time with ignorant people. When it comes to sickness, the prophet said, whenever you are experiencing a sickness, what's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. He said, whenever you have a sickness, go seek a doctor's opinion. That's what the prophet said. Obesity is a sickness, just like anorexia is a sickness. So if you are suffering with obesity, Sister Nia, go see a doctor. That's the person of knowledge, not a man who don't even know his head from his toe and probably don't even know what La ilaha illallah really means because he don't believe in the lordship of Allah. Okay? You guys understand? Yeah, see, that's what happens. And this is what we were speaking about in our class today. How just like the people distort the Quran, they distort Allah's names and attributes, they distort those hadiths too, because they don't know who, what, where, when, how. Remember, we talked about that in our Mechalcidic class. The same science that is used for the Quran is used for the Hadiths too. You have to know who, what, where, when, why. You have to know what happened to make the prophet say what he said. You have to know what he was talking about. You have to know which Hadiths connect. Because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of Hadiths. You have to know the whole story. Many of these Hadiths all come from the same khutbah. You have to know the khutbah. Okay? So don't sit there and take your knowledge of Islam from just anybody. You ask the people of knowledge. And when it comes to the human body, when it comes to your health, the prophet says, seek a doctor's opinion. Seek a doctor. Okay? Okay, let's see. Let me take a couple of questions here. Once we are in the graves, are we punished for sins? Yes. For those of you who don't know, because I taught a whole class on this, when we die, we do not go straight to heaven. We do not go to sleep like the Christians say and wake up in heaven. No. When you die, you're going to either spend your time in the hellfire until the day of judgment, or you will be in the form of a green bird flying around the throne of Allah on the day to the day of judgment. Either or. There's no such thing as going to sleep and just waking up. Either you're going to spend from that moment until the day of judgment in hell, or you will be the green bird, depending on how you practice your religion in this world. The punishment of the grave, you either going to be punished in that grave until the day of judgment, or you won't. And Allah knows best. Okay, let's look at the next question in here. Hold on, let me go back to this. Yeah, so if a woman needs weight reduction, you need to get it, sisters. I had it done. I recommend it, because if you don't get it done, you're going to die of a heart attack or stroke. And Allah is going to ask you why you didn't. Remember, we're supposed to do everything in our power to save our life. Okay? Your body is an amanah. It's a trust between you and Allah. Allah is going to ask you why you didn't have weight reduction surgery. He's going to say, I sent the treatment for obesity. Why didn't you seek the treatment? Why did you just let yourself go and die from a heart attack? Because you didn't know. Why didn't you know that it was lawful? He's going to ask you, why didn't you know that weight reduction is lawful? You were supposed to know what's lawful and what it wasn't. I allowed you to live for 40 years on the earth, and you didn't learn what the lawful and unlawful were? Yeah, Allah's going to throw all that stuff back up at us. So you better go see a doctor. And let's stop listening to these men who don't know what the heck they talking about. And Allah knows best. Let's see what else we got. Okay, here's another one. If I'm making up my fast from Ramadan, can I fast on Friday? Okay, this is another excellent question. Again, we have to understand these hadiths. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not fast on Friday unless you fast either the day before it or the day after. That hadith is authentic. But he's talking about a voluntary fast. He's talking about a voluntary fast. Now, let me give you the story, the who, what, where, when, why behind the hadith. One day, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came home to visit his wife, Zainab, and he wanted to spend some time with her, some intimate time with her. But she told him she was fasting. He said, did you fast the day before? She said, no. He said, do you intend to fast tomorrow? She said, not really. He said, then break the fast. He said, because we don't fast on Friday. It was a Friday, unless you fast the day before or the day after. And that was a voluntary fast she was doing. Ramadan is not a voluntary fast. I repeat, Ramadan is not a voluntary fast. I repeat again, Ramadan is an obligatory fast. So you have to make the days of Ramadan up. You have to make those days up ASAP, to be honest. Okay? ASAP. So that hadith does not apply to the Ramadan fast. We fast on Fridays for the month of Ramadan, don't we? So you fast your Ramadan. If you're making up a Ramadan fast, then that's different. That's the exception to that Friday. But a voluntary fast, do not fast Friday unless you fast the day before, the day after, and Allah knows best. And I've given y'all the dalil. The sources of those hadiths are Bukhari and Muslim too. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, okay. Oh, that's all? Okay. Any other questions, Sister Nia? Go ahead with them too. Yeah, mashallah, these were beautiful questions. Yeah, but Sister Nia, try to talk to that sister about living with a man. That's horrible. That's a big sin. That's a horrific sin. Try to get her to get up out of that. She better go down to the county or go call her local masjid and ask them, are there any single sisters, who wouldn't mind her living with them for a week or two while she
Yes,
get that relief. That's serious. Yeah. Yeah, these were excellent questions. Any other questions, guys? Okay, Brother Amir said, I really like how you give us the hadiths, and I really like how you give us the history too, sister. May Allah bless you. I mean, may Allah bless us all, and forgive us of our sins. And that's what these brothers are supposed to do. Whenever it comes to answering questions about Islam, we have to be able to give the evidence, because Islam is based on evidence. And there's only two sources. It ain't no fatwa from Islam Q&A. It ain't what nobody say except Allah and those original companions or their predecessors. Those first 3 generations. That's it. If it didn't come from them, we don't entertain it. Anything that's not from them is just people's opinion. And there's too many opinions out there today. Yeah, these are the days of fitan. Too many opinions out there that's taken us away from Islam and its truthfulness. Yeah.
Okay, sister, I got one more question. It's a long one. Is it okay if I say it instead of write it?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so here I'm noticing I've only been under the fold of Islam for a year, alhamdulillah, and I've been noticing that brothers are starting to ask am I available for marriage and stuff like that. Is it proper to just literally, like, the only thing that I say is contact my wakil, and then give a phone number and then stop all conversation, because they be wanting to talk every day, and I don't want to talk to them.
That's the way you do, and that's how you know that they ain't the kind of marry, right? Because there ain't no courtship, there ain't no boyfriend girlfriend, there ain't no dating in Islam. You did the right thing. If a brother wants to know, or if you are available, if he was a decent brother, he wouldn't ask you anyway. He would do just like Brother Shaheed did. He would come and say, can I have the number for your guardian? And you give him that phone number, and that's it. Your guardian takes it from there. But no, you don't have no phone conversations. Otherwise, you would end up like that sister that's living with some man that she shouldn't be living with. That's how we end up in those type of situations. But no, ain't no girlfriend, no boyfriend, no dating. And one of the sisters asked that last week. Remember that question about which is better, a convert or a non-convert? It depends. Like I told a lot of the sisters who were born Muslim, a brother that's a convert don't understand that. They don't understand that you can't call me on the phone. Either you marry me or let me go. If we get married, we get married today. If you know through my guardian, if you ain't gonna marry me, then what are you talking to me for? You know, some of the convert men got a problem with that because they used to dating or whatever they used to doing. Okay, so no, the way you're handling is the way it's supposed to be. You know, here's my guardian's number. Keep it moving. Don't contact me. Keep it moving. We're not kafir women. Don't treat us like a backdoor woman. We're better than that. Treat me with dignity. Treat me with the respect that Allah said that I am due. I am not a convert. I'm not a kafir. You either marry me or go about your business. Hello. That's the attitude that you sisters are going to have to adopt. Seriously, we got to be tough. We're living in the days of fitting, where people have made a mockery of this deen. Y'all see what's going on with famous men. Look at these famous brothers caught up in sexcapades. It's time to get serious. We can't play with our religion no more. It's time to get serious. And you sisters have to demand your respect. If they can't treat you like a Muslim woman, bounce. What you trying to talk to me for? That means you ain't worthy of me. Bounce up out of here. Go find you a kafir to play with. We got to be tough today, especially with what's going on in the news with these famous personalities. Yeah, that bothers me. Yeah, it's bothering you too. Yeah, it should bother all of us. All of us sisters hearing what these brothers are doing. To these young girls, babies. Mess with one of mine. See what happened. Well, hey, mine will take you out. I ain't got to worry about none of that with none of my grandkids. My grandkids are bad. They'll take you out on their own. Yeah. They would. They'll take you out on their own. Some man in the grocery store called himself grabbing my granddaughter a couple of weeks ago. My younger one, this 18-year-old, she put him on the floor. Then the police came. Had to get her out of jail. She said he touched me. Don't nobody put their hands on me. She turned around and had that man on the floor in 5 seconds. My grandkids are bad. Don't touch them. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions or comments, guys? Let me check Zoom again. Hold on. Let me get back in here. Do we have any more?
Yes,
Islam. Okay. Okay. Here's another one. Does all marriage happen in person? I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
I saw a sister's story, just watching her story, and her spouse, I guess, I don't know how they family got it together, but she got married while he was in they were in different countries. Is that
okay? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam married his wife Habiba through a letter. Habiba was living in Abyssinia. She was the daughter of Abu Sufyan. She had migrated to Abyssinia with her husband. But when she got to Abyssinia, her husband apostated from Islam and he became a drunk. And he got into a fight with some people and they killed him.
What was her name again?
Habiba. That was one of the wives of the Prophet. And so after that, when the Prophet heard about Habiba, He sent her a marriage proposal and through a letter asking her for her hand in marriage. And her guardian was the king of Abyssinia. King Negus was her guardian. Okay? Nothing in Islam says that we're not Christians. We don't get married the way Christian people do. We don't walk down an aisle. We don't have wedding rings. And we don't have to be present. When I married my last husband, Sheikh Atlee, we were married over the telephone. He called my guardian, my stepfather, and asked my stepfather, could he marry me? 2 of my brothers were the witnesses, and we were married over the telephone. So nothing in Islam says that we have to be together in the same place or country or any of that. In order for a marriage to be valid in Islam, you have to have a guardian, you have to have a dowry, you have to have 2 Muslim male witnesses. Did I name everything, guys? Those are the conditions of a valid marriage contract. Nowhere does it say you have to be in the same place or something. Okay, and Allah knows best. So that's not Islam. We're not Christians. We don't get married, nothing like them. We don't do nothing like them, not even our marriages. Okay. And by the way, guys, the prophet didn't even get to consummate his marriage to Habiba till months later, after the conquest of Mecca. In fact, the day of the conquest of Mecca, that's when Habiba came back to Medina. And that's when that's when she came back, from where she was. And that's when her and the prophet consummated their marriage. So in Islam, we don't have to be together and we don't have to be in person. The woman doesn't even have to be present. I can appoint somebody like I did in my case, my stepfather. My stepfather handled all that. I got married to Sheikh Ali through my stepfather and my brothers. I didn't handle none of that. Okay? I wasn't even around. Okay? So our marriages are different. But you have to have the guardian. Your guardian takes care of all that for you. And Allah knows best. Yeah, any other questions? Let me look on here. I'm trying to see. Hold on, guys. That was all for that one there. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Who is that? Yeah, go ahead, brother. I can see you're typing. Where are you on Twitter? Let me log in on Twitter too. I see you're on Twitter. Go ahead, type your question. I keep forgetting about my Twitter account. Let me log in and see what it looks like on Twitter. While you type your question, yeah, go ahead. It's called X now. Woo! There I am. Oh, wow, look at X on your phone. Wait, here I am. Oh. Yeah. There I am. Yeah, I can see me on there. Yeah, go ahead, brother. While I look at myself on here. Yeah, go ahead, brother. Yeah, I'm on here. Where you at? I'm logged on. Where you at, dude? While I look at myself on here. Yeah, go ahead, brother. Yeah, I'm on here. Where you at? Oh, okay, I see it. Okay, the brother here is asking me about the prayers again. All right, what about it? You just said I'm asking about the prayer, but you didn't type it. Okay. Yes. And I'm glad you're asking this. He said, I am a new Shahada. I apologize. I'm learning how to work this. He said, I was here for the class last week. You said that we do not pray those prayers until the Abin. I think you're trying to say Adhan. Yes, I think he's talking. Yeah, the Adhan. Is that what you're talking about? And we did the class on the Sunnah prayers. Exactly. Let me go over that again. I'm glad you asked that. I want all the new Muslims and the old ones too, but particularly the new ones, to understand. Allah says in the Quran, each prayer has its fixed time. Each prayer has its fixed time. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained what that verse means in the hadith. He said, when Allah says every prayer has its fixed time, he said, Dhuhr begins with its Adhan. And you have until the Adhan for Dhuhr to pray, of Asr to pray Dhuhr. Asr begins at the pronouncement of its Adhan. And you have until Maghrib to pray Asr. Maghrib begins with its Adhan. And you have until Isha to pray Maghrib. So that shows that each prayer has its fixed time. Now I'm going to break it down in more English. Dhuhr means afternoon prayer. The afternoon prayer begins at its time, and you have until midday, which is Asr, to pray it. Asr begins at midday, and you have until sunset. Maghrib means sunset, to pray it. Maghrib begins at sunset, and you have until the night falls to pray it. Isha means night. Okay? So that's what's meant. So that means you can pray those prayers anytime within that time frame. If you make Dhuhr, say the Adhan for Dhuhr comes in at 12 o'clock. And the Adhan for Asr comes in at 4 o'clock. You have between the hours of 12 and 4 to make Dhuhr. That's the first part of the answer. And since each prayer has its fixed time, that means the sunans of that prayer does not begin until that prayer begins. So if Dhuhr comes in at 12 o'clock, you have to wait until 12 to pray the sunnah rakats of Dhuhr. Because if you prayed those sunnah rakats before 12, you were not praying the sunans of Dhuhr. You understand? Okay, good. So yes, you have to wait until the Adhan has been called for whatever the prayer is, and then you perform the sunnah rakats of that prayer. Otherwise, you're not praying the sunnah rakats of that prayer, because each prayer has a fixed time, and Allah knows best. You understand? He said it's clear. He said you broke it down clearly for me. Good job. And we're going to talk about that again on Monday, because I want to make sure that all the new shahadas understand that. So I'm going to go over that again on Monday with you guys. Okay. Okay, here's another question. Wait a minute, hold on. Okay. My allergies are off the hook. If your voice has been used as a source of temptation and men lust from your voice, what can I do? Okay, first of all, this is another example. Sister Nia, another example as to how we don't understand the meaning. Allah tells us in the Quran, not only do we as Muslim women have to cover up our bodies publicly, but also for our protection when we speak publicly. Allah commands you in the Quran to make your voice loud and strong and intimidating. Loud, strong, intimidating. That's the meaning of that Arabic word. Because now we're going to go into the history. Why did Allah say that? Because before Islam, women were viewed as nothing but cattle. Women were treated like dirt, as you guys know, sexually. And in order for a woman to even be acknowledged, she had to behave in a way that would be admirable to a man. Well, Islam liberated us women from that. No longer do we have to sell ourselves to be acknowledged. No longer do we have to prostitute ourselves as women to be acknowledged. So Allah commands us as Muslim women that when we go out publicly to carry ourselves with dignity, with humility and balance. So I don't have to be soft and seductive and prostitute myself to get a man to wait on me in the grocery store, like the women had to do back in the 6th century. Because Allah says you never know what sickness lurks in the heart of a man, because men are weak. They're weak sexually. So when we go out and we speak, your voice should be like mine. You have to make your voice loud, make your voice serious, make your voice intimidating, not aggressive. My voice is not aggressive. My voice is loud and intimidating, because that will cause the men to back away. That'll cause those men who have weakness in their heart to go after some woman that's not strong. Sister Nia, you do not have a Marilyn Monroe voice. So you don't fall in that category. I don't know who told you that, but they told you wrong. The type of what the women used to do in the 6th century, y'all remember, have you guys ever heard of Marilyn Monroe? They had to talk like this. That's how the women had to talk back then in order to be acknowledged. Nia, you do not talk that way. So whatever idiot told you that you have a seductive voice, he's nothing but an idiot. And Allah knows best. All right. Does that answer your question? But that's for all Muslim women. When we go out the house, you need to speak up. We have to speak up as Muslim women. Be strong. Be women of dignity. Women of intimidation. You better go look at that careful woman with the Nicki Minaj pants on and not look at Layla Nashiba. That's what Allah is commanding us to be like. You are not. Whoever told you talk that way, they told you a lie. Tell them to bounce. All right, let's see another question here. What if you miss a prayer and the other prayer is coming in? Okay, remember, guys, this is what I'm going to go over this again on Monday. You have until the beginning of the next prayer to pray. You have not missed a prayer. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said negligence occurs when you pray a prayer outside of its regular time. Say, for example, Dhuhr comes in at 12. Asr comes in at 4. I forgot to pray Dhuhr. It's now 5 o'clock. If you truly forgot, the Prophet said, then as soon as you remember, go make your prayer. So I would make Dhuhr and then pray my Asr. The other excuse is if you were asleep. Fajr comes in at 6 o'clock. And it goes out at 7. I don't wake up until 9 o'clock in the morning. I would sleep. So what do? The Prophet said, pray it as soon as you wake up. I hope that answers the question. The only 2 excuses for missing a prayer is forgetfulness or sleep. What's the source? Sahih Muslim. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said negligence, is only in 2 instances. You actually forgot to pray because you were so busy, or you overslept. And in that case, as soon as you remember the prayer, or as soon as you wake up, you pray it. But anything else, if you have until 4 o'clock, that's my example, to pray that Dhuhr. Some people tell you that you got to pray as soon as the Adhan come in. Who said that? You have until the Adhan for the next prayer to pray it. Everybody understand what I'm saying here? Okay. And Allah knows best. Okay. Any other questions? We had some very good questions today. Yeah, so Sister Nia, if you're going to speak publicly, like even on the internet like I'm doing, if you're going to speak publicly, make your voice loud, make your voice strong, make your voice firm, and try to be intimidating, because that will discourage any men like these perverts who are famous. It'll discourage them from trying to come get you. Okay? Yeah. Any other questions there? Is that all of them?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have any more on him. Okay, go ahead, brother. You got one more? Go ahead.
Nia had put her hands up too, Layla.
Who?
Nia. She put her hand up.
She's the one I've been answering. No, she's fine. She's the one I've been answering all these days. She's fine. Go back to sleep, Anissa. Yeah. Go ahead, brother. I'm waiting. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, the night prayer. Isha, you're talking about Isha prayer. Isha, this is another misconception. I don't know how these brothers get this, because they don't know the hadiths. There's a lot of men out there who will tell you that you only have till 12 o'clock to pray Isha. That's not true. I don't know where they get that from, because that ain't what the hadith says. I just gave you the hadith. You have until Fajr to pray the prayer of Isha, and that's based on the authentic hadith I've been quoting all this time. Okay? Plus, we have numerous hadiths from Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim where the Prophet would delay the Isha prayer. Sometimes he would delay and pray it during the first part of the night. Sometimes he would delay it all the way to the third part of the night. Okay, so you have until Fajr. Isha begins whenever the Adhan for it is pronounced, and you have until the Adhan for Fajr to pray the Isha prayer, and Allah knows best. I don't know where those brothers get that from, but I've heard them say that too. But that just goes to show you, who are these people you learning from? Where's their dalil? Where's the dalil from the Prophet Muhammad that says you have until 12 o'clock at night to pray Isha? There's no such dalil, because I can give you about 10 hadiths right from out of Bukhari where he delayed it to the all different times of the night, and the hadith I just gave you where he said every prayer ends at the beginning of the next except for Fajr. Fajr ends at sunrise. And what's the source of that? Sahih Muslim. So I don't know where these brothers get their information from. That's what happens when you follow a mathab. I don't teach you from a mathab here. I teach you the understanding of those companions as they received it from the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, so you have until Fajr. Yeah, you're working third shift. Okay, he says he works third shift. And sometimes he's so busy with his patients that he doesn't get to make Isha in the summertime until 1 or 2 in the morning. He said that the Imam told him that he missed Isha, that he had till 12. Well, I don't know who this Imam is, because that's not correct. You have until Fajr. Allah says every prayer has its fixed time. And the Prophet said every prayer begins at its Adhan and ends at the Adhan for the next, except for Fajr. Fajr ends at sunrise. And Allah knows best. Exactly. He said Islam is so easy. He said, I'm sitting here thinking that I'm missing my prayers. He said, I was trying to figure out what am I going to do because I have to work. Well, that just shows, be careful. That's why Allah guided you here. And before I end, I just want to, stress this with everybody. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful who you take your knowledge of Islam from, guys. We're living in the days of the Ruwaybidah. We're living in the days of fitan, the days of all the calamities that's befalling us. We have a lot of famous men abusing their authority. We have people who we think are scholars and they're really not, misleading us, leading us to the gates of hell. You have to be careful who you take your knowledge of Islam from. If that person is not basing their teachings on the authentic hadiths and the Quran, then don't listen to them. That's why I use PowerPoint. Always have. Okay? And also, guys, be careful. Don't think that because a person's got 10 million followers, that means that they're a scholar. In fact, the more followers they have means the opposite. Okay? Because the closer we get to the last hour, the more followers Shaitan will have. So be careful of who you guys are learning from. And remember, Allah says in the Quran, anyone who is sincere in wanting to learn this religion and its truthfulness, Allah will guide you to the proper sources. Look how Allah has guided you all to this website. Do y'all think it was a coincidence? No. Allah knew that you all were sincere in wanting to learn the religion the correct way, based on what Prophet Muhammad said, not somebody else, and you wanted the understanding that those originals had, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's why Allah guided y'all here. So you thank Allah for that and continue to learn your religion based on the only two sources that exist in this religion, which are the Quran and the authentic Hadith. All right. Okay, I'm going to close out for tonight. I think that's all the questions, right? Ain't no more in Zoom either, right? Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, I don't see any more either. Okay, guys, so I want to thank everybody for joining and participating. Don't forget, the first class tomorrow will be at 10 o'clock in the morning. Sister Samat, she's doing the names of Allah. I'll put some stuff out for that tonight, inshallah. All right, so I want to thank everybody for joining. Please support this dawah effort, guys. We need donations. We are a nonprofit organization. Think of all the blessings you will get, for keeping this website on the internet, because you guys know it ain't free to stream, especially all the streaming I'm doing, subhanallah. So please support us. So subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum. I'll see everybody tomorrow, inshallah.